Hello everybody and welcome back to Gaming on Caffeine. My name is Isaac and we are back for episode 4 of Feed the Beast Infinity for Minecraft 1.10. Last episode we were working on a little bit of Tinker's construct. We set up the smeltery as well as all of the Tinker's tables, and since the end of last episode I've made the smeltery a little bit taller. It's now 3 tall with this seared glass window in the front. I did a little bit more mining, we got some more ingots, we've got a little bit more redstone, a little bit more coal, all that good stuff. But what I want to work on in today's episode is I want to work on making the Tinker's hammer that we started to look at during the end of last episode. But I want to change it up a little bit because last episode I said that I was kind of debating between 2 options as to how I wanted to make the hammer. The first was I was going to make the whole thing out of iron, and the second was that I was going to make the whole thing out of Electrum. The reason why I was going to go for iron is because it's cheap, we have a lot of it, and it makes it really easy to repair the hammer if it breaks. And the reason why I was going to go with Electrum is because Electrum is one of the fastest materials in terms of mining speed. But after looking at the comment section of the last episode, and after doing a little bit of tinkering around in a single player world, I've decided that I'm going to make my hammer out of 3 different materials. So if we come on over to the tool forge and we select our hammer, I'm going to make the 2 large plates either side of the head here out of Electrum. That's going to allow us to get a little bit of that Electrum speed boost without having to use Electrum for the main material on the head. The reason why I don't want to do that is because Electrum is pretty expensive. For those who don't know, Electrum is an alloy made by combining gold and silver, and if we go look in our chest over here, we've only got 14 gold, which would get us 28 Electrum, but considering we're going to have to use about 8 of that in order to make the hammer in the first place, and it takes quite a lot of Electrum to actually repair the hammer once it's fully broken, we would run out of gold pretty quickly. And so what I'm going to use for the head is actually iron. I'm going to make the head out of iron because, again, we've got a bunch of iron. We've got almost 4 stacks of the stuff, and of course it's super abundant down in the mine, so getting more of it is going to be really easy. And then as for the tough rod, this was a bit of a hard one, but I eventually landed on making it out of slime, because somewhat surprisingly, slime has one of the highest durabilities of all of these tool rods. You can see there, it gives an extra durability of 350, which compared to something like, where's iron? Iron is over here. Iron only gives an extra 50. If we look at bone, bone gives 65. There's a bunch of other ones here. There were some high ones like pig iron, which gives an extra 170, but none that are really quite like the extra 350 that the Slimy Tough Rod can provide. So let's start by throwing in some of the iron and some of the Electrum into the smeltery so we can start pulling out those metals and making the casts. As for the Slimy Tough Rod, the way that we make that is by using a slime crystal, which is this thing over here. We need 3 of these in order to make the tough rod, and you make this by smelting up a green slimy mud, and this is made with 4 slime balls, 1 sand, and 1 dirt. Now, we'll get back to that in a second. Before we do, though, let's grab 8 iron for our hammerhead. If we come over to the pattern chest, I did go ahead and also, between episodes, make all of the patterns in Tinker's constructs. I just came over to the stencil table, put in a bunch of blank patterns, and just went through and made every single one of them and put them in the pattern chest so we don't have to worry about coming back to the stencil table if we want to make more tools in the future. But what we need to do now is we need to make a couple of things. We need to make the Hammerhead Cast. So let's just grab this, stick it in there. That's going to get us that. Let's pull this out real quick. We are going to have to make a Hammerhead Cast with the aluminum brass that we have in the smeltery here. Once we've got that, we are good for casts because we don't need a cast to make the Slime Tough Rod. The Slime Tough Rod is made inside of the part builder. All we have to do is put the Tough Rod in like so. You can see here the Tough Rod requires 3. It's got a material cost of 3, and so all we have to do is put 3 slime crystals into this slot here where the cobblestone is, and that will get us the Slimy Tough Rod, which we can then combine up with the other parts in the tool forge to get our hammer. So if we come over to the smeltery here, we can put all 8 iron in. That's going to cover the 8 material cost that the hammerhead has, and then for the Electrum, we need 2 of the large plates, each of which require 8, and so if we were to grab 8 gold and 8 silver, that should combine together, if memory serves me correctly, into 16 Electrum inside of the smeltery. And as far as I know, I don't think gold or silver will combine with iron, so there shouldn't be any crossover there. There shouldn't be any mix-up that I don't want to occur. And now, whilst we're waiting for that, we need to get quite a bit of slime. So like I said, we need to get 3 of these slime crystals. Each one requires 4 slime balls, which means in total, we need 12 slime balls to make this work. And right now, we have 0. We don't have any slime balls whatsoever. And so the first thing that we're going to work on in today's episode is getting some slime. Now, to the best of my knowledge, one of the best ways for us to get slime is by flying around and trying to find one of the Tinker's Construct slime islands that spawn in the sky. You might have seen them as we walk around. They kind of just spawn up in the air, a couple of 100 blocks up. And they're basically just islands of floating slime. They have slime trees, they've got like bouncing slime, they've got all kinds of stuff, congealed slime. And if we can get to one of those, we could just harvest some of those slime blocks and craft them back into slime balls. The trouble is, they're pretty high up and it requires quite a bit of exploration. And so the first thing that we're going to work on in today's episode is getting ourselves a jetpack. Now, there are 2 mods that are jetpacks currently in this build of Feed the Beast Infinity. There is Industrial Craft 2, and there is Mechanism. Now, I was contemplating going for Mechanism, but I think we are going to go with the Electric Jetpack from Industrial Craft 2. The only reason is that the Electric Jetpack from Industrial Craft 2 runs on EU, which we are already producing, and will soon be storing, whereas the Jetpack from Mechanism runs on hydrogen, which you make by putting water through an electrolytic separator, turning it into hydrogen and oxygen, but that requires a totally different kind of power. It requires redstone flux, which we are not yet producing, and it's also a little bit harder to charge up. Although it does run on water, essentially, we have to keep putting it back into the electrolytic separator to refill on hydrogen, whereas the jetpack here, although we do have to keep filling it up with EU, Industrial Craft 2 adds what are known as charge pads. These guys over here, and essentially what a charge pad does is it acts as a storage block. So it acts as a bat box. It will store up to 40,000 EU, but whenever you walk over it, it will start to charge any items in your inventory that require EU. And so, for example, if I just put my charge pad like right about here or right about here, whenever I come over to do some crafting, if I'm wearing the jetpack, it will just get a little trickle of EU, and it will hopefully keep it constantly charged so that I don't have to keep manually remembering to charge it and then walking over to a bat box, putting it in, waiting for it to charge, and then taking it out in order to use it. So that's why we're going to go with the jetpack from Industrial Craft 2, also because we've already got quite a nice setup from Industrial Craft 2 up and running. But before we get into that, between episodes, I did get all of the items ready to actually make our first bat box. You need 1 insulated tin cable, 3 RE batteries, and then 5 of any wooden planks. I've got all that stuff. We're going to grab this, and we're going to put it down over here, because like I mentioned last episode, I want to be able to capture any excess EU that we generate, because right now, this thing is producing 8 EU per tick, but right now, the macerator and the extractor are not doing anything, and they're storing as much power as they can store, and so right now we're just wasting EU. It's not going anywhere. And so what I want to do instead is I want to kind of replace, I think, this cable here with a bat box. And as you can see, between episodes I've done a little bit more piping, and I've run some cable around to the extractor, so the extractor is getting power from the low voltage solar array here. I don't have my pickaxe on me. Do I actually have a pickaxe in my chest? I'm not quite sure if we do. I think I might have broken my iron pickaxe fairly recently. Yeah, it doesn't look like I have one. Okay, so let me grab some wood here. Let's craft those up real quick into some sticks. Let's grab some iron from our chest. And then let's see about making another iron pickaxe real quick. We are, of course, probably going to make a Tinker's Construct pickaxe fairly soon, but for now, let me just grab one of those so that I can go ahead and break the cobblestone underneath the macerator. And I'm also going to need, actually, a wrench from Industrial Craft 2. So, if I come over to my chest, let's grab some copper and some tin. I'm pretty sure that forestry has a recipe that looks like this, that allows us to craft 3 copper and 1 tin into 4 forestry bronze. There are a couple of different bronzes in the pack, but they should all work in exactly the same way. And now, if we do something like this, that gets us the wrench from Industrial Craft 2. Now, you've got to be careful with the machines from Industrial Craft 2, because for those who don't know, if you break, for example, the macerator with a pickaxe, there is, I think, 100% chance that it will just break and you will get back just the machine frame that you used to make it, whereas if you break it with the wrench, there is a slightly lower chance that you will get the machine frame back. Still a chance, so with the Industrial Craft machines, it's a good idea to just put them down and then never move them, but if you do want to move them, the wrench is your best bet there. For now, let me quickly get some sleep, and then we'll go and break the block, and we can also use the wrench to rotate the bat box, because the bat box has one side that is an output and then the rest that are inputs. So if, for example, first of all we get rid of this cobblestone here and replace that with, I thought we just picked up, actually I'm fairly certain we should have just picked up a tin cable. Did I put that back into one of these chests, or did I just not pick it up in the first place? It looks like I didn't get it. I don't think it's going to matter too much if I put down a copper cable here. Although, you know what, actually, I'll get rid of this. Oh, do they break? Oh, okay, so I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently, if you break the wires by hand from Industrial Craft 2, they will just break entirely. In that case, let me come over to here, let me grab my cutters, and I've already got my forge hammer. Let me make a couple more of these tin cables real quick. Okay, so now we've got a few more of these tin cables. I can run one underneath the macerator like that, and the bat box is going to go right about here. Now, the green output side here is the one where the power goes out, and then the rest of the sides, kind of the white sides, are where the power goes in. And the way that you rotate this is you right click with the wrench, or I think shift right click on the wrench, on the side that is opposite where you want the power to be. So if I shift right click here, that's going to point the power towards the bottom there. So you can kind of see the green is on the bottom side now. And so if I do something like this should start to fill up with EU, which it is. Down here at the bottom, we've got slots where I can charge up my armor if I so wish. I can pull in my jetpack and charge that up inside the bat box, but we're not going to do that. We are actually going to charge it up with our charge pad. I did get some glass shards here when I broke the glass. What can I use these for? Oh, I can use them to remake the glass. That's pretty cool. We don't quite have enough, but I guess if you were breaking a lot of glass, that would allow you to remake some of it and not necessarily lose all of the glass that you had. I'll probably go ahead and replace that at some point between episodes, but for now, we've made the bat box. Now let's look at making ourselves the jetpack from Industrial Craft 2. So to make this, we need one normal bat box, so we do need to make another bat box. We need 4 iron item casing, 2 glowstone, and 1 advanced circuit. The advanced circuit is a normal electronic circuit with 4 redstone, 2 lapis, and 2 glowstone. So in order to make the jetpack, we need 4 glowstone, which means we're going to have to make our first trip to the Nether. So what that means is that I am probably going to have to make some kind of diamond pickaxe, although I think I could probably get away with making a cobblestone pickaxe, possibly, and then upgrading it with a diamond to get it up to this point where we can mine obsidian. I'm going to try that real quick. If I grab a stone tool rod, let's go ahead and let's throw in the pickaxe head class. Let's grab a stone pickaxe head, and then if I just do a binding as well, I think, if I'm not mistaken, if I was to do something like this and put all of those in there, that gets us a normal stone pickaxe. But then if I upgrade this with a diamond, does that give it the ability to mine down to obsidian? It takes its mining level up to diamond. Let me quickly check a diamond pickaxe here. This thing doesn't have a mining level. Let me have a look at the pickaxes from Tinker's Construct themselves. Do any of these have a mining level of obsidian? They do. And I think obsidian might be a little bit higher than diamond, if I'm not mistaken. So you know what? Instead, we're going to get rid of this. We could probably do it with Tinker's Construct, but for the time being, I'm just going to use 3 of our diamonds. There are quite a few more down in the mines that I know the location of, but haven't mined quite yet, because I want to save them for when we get some kind of fortune, so we can mine more of them. But for now, I'm going to get myself a diamond pickaxe, like so. We're going to use this diamond pickaxe. I should also grab a bucket of water, and essentially, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down to the mines. I'm going to find a pool of lava. I'm not going to use the one that we have up here, because I like having a nearby source of lava. It makes it very easy to fill up the smeltery. So I'm going to grab some water. I'm going to go pour it over some lava down in the mines. I'm going to mine the obsidian enough to get ourselves a nether portal, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so a little while later, we've now got 12 obsidian, 2 more than we need to make a basic nether portal. But before we set that up, we are running a little bit low on hunger, and some people in the comment section did remind me that we do have Pam's Harvest Craft installed, and so we can go ahead and do something, I think, like this, and get ourselves the juicer from Pam's Harvest Craft, and juice up these apples here to get apple juice, which is significantly better at filling up our hunger and saturation than normal apples are. Unfortunately, a couple of people did suggest using these berries here. These are from Biomes of Plenty, so they don't actually work with the juicer from Pam's Harvest Craft. You can't juice these up, unfortunately, but the apple juice should be more than enough on its own, especially considering all the apple trees that we have around us now. So, now we've got the obsidian. Let's quickly grab a piece of flint and a piece of iron so we can make a flint and steel. I'm going to set this thing up probably behind the house, mostly because I'm not a huge fan of the sound that the nether portal makes, and it can get pretty loud if you put it too close to the house. I'm probably going to have it like right about here. So I'll put those 2 down. I guess we'll just put like gravel here for now. They're just temporary blocks to form the frame. We will then go 1, 2, 3. Same on this side. 1, 2, 3. You all know how to make a nether portal by now. I'll put one there, one here, and then boom, boom. And now we should be good to go. Nice. So I haven't been to the nether yet. I'm really hoping that we just end up on a nice area with a big pool of lava and hopefully some glowstone nearby. That's my dream. Knowing my luck, we will not. Ooh, I think I might be a look though. That looks like a very big pool of lava, which is nice. This netherrack has got a new texture in 1.10. I have not seen that before. But we've got that, and we're actually not too far away from some glowstone. If I just grab some of this netherrack here, we should be able to fairly easily grab most of that. Ooh, this has got a nice new texture as well. I like it. I like it a lot. Are there any pigmen around? I don't think there are. This is Ardite, by the way. This is one of the materials from Tinker's Construct. It doesn't... I don't think I can harvest this. Yeah, no, it's got a little X next to currently harvestable, so I can't actually get that. Oh, look at this. This is perfect. Some on-ground glowstone. I love it. All right, guys, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to grab all this glowstone. I'm going to head on back to the overworld. I'm going to make most of the stuff that we need to make the jetpack, because for the most part, we've made all of it already. For example, the bat box is just some RE battery, some cable. The plates are just some iron through a hammer, and then the advanced electronic circuit is just a normal circuit with some glowstone, redstone, and lapis. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to make most of the stuff that we need to make the electric jetpack, and probably most of the stuff that we need to make the charge pad, because again, it's all stuff that we had before, and I'll be back in a second. Alright, so a little bit of crafting later and a super messy inventory. We should now have everything it takes to, first of all, make the advanced circuit. We only want to make the one of those because the other two circuits here are for the charge pad. And now we should have everything to make the jetpack. And then now, if we type in charge pad, we should pretty much have everything it takes to make this. All we need to do is grab enough stone to make the stone pressure plate, which again, super easy stuff. We'll make one of those, and then if we do something like this, we get ourselves the charge pad. Nice. Now, I've decided the charge pad is going to go here, and to do that, I've dug out a bit of a tunnel down there that goes all the way along and hooks up to our solar panel. So, if I was to quickly grab some more rubber, which I've been cooking up in the extractor, and then do something like this, that's going to get us 18 tin cables, which should be more than enough to get us all the way there. Let me get rid of that so I can get back out when we're done. Now all we need to do is run this cable down here and then along through here. The tin cables are not particularly great. They can only carry 32 EU per tick, but... oh, wow, that's a mistake. But... I picked it up that time. I got 7 again, so I'm not quite sure what happened over there last time. But we're not going to be using more than 32 EU per tick, because right now we only have one source of power if you don't include the generator, which we're not using. And that's the solar panel, which is only producing 8 EU per tick. And so for the time being, this should be fine. If we put that there, that's going to start filling up with EU. I can put the spruce wood back into my floor. And now, if I was to put the jetpack on, you can see right now, 0 out of 30,000 EU. If I walk over it, it lights up. We get a really cool particle effect. And it starts to charge the jetpack whilst I'm stood here doing any crafting that I might be doing, which, if you ask me, is pretty cool. So... what I'm going to do now is I am first of all going to just stand here and wait for this thing to charge up to full so I can go ahead and use it. But I also want to go and find some of those slime islands. Now, not just any slime island. I want to find a purple slime island. I'm not quite sure if these are new to 1.10. I hadn't seen them before until now. But I was looking through some of the new modifiers that were available for Tinker's tools in 1.10. And I came across the expanders. Now, there are two types of expander. There is the horizontal and vertical expander. And they do kind of what you'd expect. They increase the range of your tool. Now, our hammer by default has a 3x3 range. But if we equip it with both a vertical expander and a horizontal expander, it gets almost a 5x5 range. It doesn't quite, because it doesn't get the corners, but it gets almost an effective 5x5 range, increasing the number of blocks it can mine from 9, giving it an extra 12 around the edges, taking it up to 21 blocks at a time that the hammer can mine if we get both of these. Now, the way that you make these, they're both made with almost an identical recipe. It's pistons, lapis, and then a purple slime ball, which you can get from Congealed purple slime, which you can get from purple islands. I know they exist. I did a little bit of flying around in a creative single-player world, a different one entirely, and I found one, so I'm assuming there'll be one in this world somewhere. All I have to do is fly around and try and find one. They're a lot more rare than the default ones and the default slime ones, so I might have to do quite a bit of flying. I might have to come back and charge this thing up at some point in the near future. Also, just to give you an example of how this thing works, it just flies like a jetpack, or how you'd expect a jetpack to fly. I think, yeah, if you press M whilst flying, it will turn hover mode on. which means you can just kind of hover in the air. Does use a little bit more power. Unfortunately, you can't press M again until you gotta hold spacebar and press M. It's a really weird system. Like, if I try to turn hover mode on whilst I'm on the floor, it just doesn't work, but if I press space and hover, then it works. So you kind of gotta hold down spacebar and press M to hover. That confused me for such a long time when I first started using the jetpack, so if you're making the same jetpack, that's how you do that. Other than that, that's basically how the jetpack works. So, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go away. I'm going to try and find some of these slime islands, and I'll be back in a second. But before we do that, there is one more thing that I forgot to mention, and that is the rubber boots. So, you do take fall damage when you use the jetpack, but if you make the rubber boots from Industrial Craft 2, which look a little bit like this, it kind of significantly reduces the amount of fall damage that you will take. So I'll show you this in a second once we wake up. It is the middle of the night, so I'm going to sleep so we don't have to go through the hordes of mobs that are outside right now. But, you know, if I just fly up and then drop, it does damage to me. Whereas if I'm wearing the rubber boots and I drop, it mitigates the damage. It does take durability off the rubber boots, and it doesn't work infinitely. If you take a larger drop, you are going to still take damage, but it does lessen the amount of damage that you take quite significantly. So now we've got those. I'm going to go away, and I'm going to try and find those slime islands. Okay, so not too much exploration later, and I've actually found 2 of these slime islands. Unfortunately, this isn't the one that I'm looking for. That one might be, but doesn't. Oh, it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's green as well. The one that I'm looking for will be like entirely purple. The whole island will be purple, but this one does have some congealed blue slime and some blue slimes on it. It also has some congealed green slime, which is mostly what I'm after. I don't want to get attacked by these guys if I can at all avoid it. Thankfully, they're not too powerful, but they do break up. Oh, I love the new, like, swiping that you can do in 1.10 and kill, like, multiple guys at a time. That's pretty cool. But essentially, we can get the congealed green slime, which we can then craft up into slime balls. We can chop down these trees, get more congealed green slime. I can pick up all of this and get even more congealed green slime. I can head on over to the other island up there and try and get a little bit more congealed green slime. But it doesn't get me the purple slime that I need in order to make the expanders. And I don't think I can get it from these, like, purple leaves here. No, I don't think I can. But what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go away again. I'm going to fly around a little bit more. I'm going to see if I can't find one of the purple islands, and I'll be back in a second. Here we go. This is what I'm after. So this is the purple slime island that I was talking about. It's nearly identical to all of the other slime islands. It's much rarer. I've passed like 3 or 4 of the other slime islands that I just showed you, but this one contains purple slimes. So if we were to go ahead and break this, I believe that we could just craft this back up into normal slime blocks, which we can then use, of course, for our expander over back at our normal base. I did go ahead and pick up 26 of those congealed green slime blocks from the other slime island, just so that we've got a nice backlog of normal slime balls if we so wish. So guys, what I'm going to do now, obviously I'm going to go away, I'm going to get as much of this purple slime as I can carry. I'm going to head on back to base, and once we get there, we'll have all the stuff to make the tough tool rod. We can probably actually finish making the hammer, and we can start making some of the modifiers, starting with the expander. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so we're back, and we should now have everything it takes to actually go ahead and make our hammer. So in our smeltery, we've got the 8 molten iron for the hammerhead, so let's quickly go ahead and throw that in there and start pulling that out. Once we put iron to the bottom, that could have been really bad. Let's get rid of some of this junk that I've got in my inventory. I'm just carrying so much trash with me. It is an absolute mess. Let's get rid of a lot of this stuff. We are going to need 4 lapis to make the expanders. We're also going to need a little bit of redstone and a little bit of iron to make the 2 pistons that we're going to need. But that should get us the iron hammerhead. Oh, I didn't realize it had to cool down now. So you can see at the top there, it's got a progress bar. And they used to have to cool down, but not for so long, which is interesting. Now let's go ahead and throw down the large plate, pull the Electrum to the bottom. It says that we've got a block and 7, which means we've got 9 ingots in a block, and then the extra 7 takes us up to 16. So that should be the perfect amount to get 2 of these large plates. This is taking quite a while to pour in, and I'm assuming a little bit of time to cool down. So let's go ahead and grab a little bit of oak wood here. I think 6 should be enough, and then we need like 8 of the cobblestone so we can make ourselves 2 pistons, and we'll pull that over there. Back over here, let's see, do we have what it takes? We do. We'll make both of those, and then we'll go ahead and make an expander, and then, oh, we need 2 more pistons in order to make the other one as well. Okay, so let's grab 8 more cobblestone and 4 more wood. No, we need 6 more wood. I'll get that in a second. 2 more iron, 2 more redstone, and we should be good to go ahead. Might as well stand over the pad while I do it. That's one thing I'm gonna have to get used to, getting right up close to the crafting table when I actually got to craft. So we've got the horizontal, we just need the vertical. Let's go ahead and grab that. Now that we've got that, we can grab our Electrum plate, and now what we need to do is get ourselves at least 12 slime balls, as well as a little bit of sand, which actually, it doesn't look like we have, as well as 3 dirt. The sand, of course, to make the slime crystals, which we need to make the tough tool rod. So let me sleep real quick, and let me go and grab a little bit of sand. And now that we've got the 3 sand, we should be able to just come over to the crafting table, combine all that stuff together to get our 3 green slimy mud, throw those into the furnace. I guess I'll just throw it not into there, but into there. What does smelting congealed slime get us? It gets us 3 green slime channels. Flow like water, feels like gelatin. I'm not quite sure what that does, but now we just need to wait for all 3 of these to smelt up. And once they're done, we can take them out. We can bring it all over to, first of all, the part builder. So we can bring in the tough rod, stick in the 3 slime crystals. That's going to get us the slimy tough rod. And now in the tool forge, we can select the hammer and we can put all 4 of the pieces in like so. And that is going to get us our iron electrum hammer. Now we'll take this. It's got slimy, magnetic 2, and shocking. I'm not quite sure what these do. Hitting things attracts nearby things. Running around charges your tool, hitting an enemy discharges it, and it'll wash off is slimy. I'm not quite sure what that does, but we have a mining level of diamond, a mining speed of 3.6, which I believe is a little bit higher than it would have been if we'd have just used solely iron. Yeah, iron has a mining speed of 2.4, so we made it a little bit faster with those electrum plates. Attack is 5.2, and we have space for 3 modifiers. So, back inside the tool forge, we're going to add on the expander. I think we can add multiple at a time, so can we also add on the vertical expander? We can. It's going to give us extra width and extra height. So if we take this out now, and I was to quickly head on over to the mines, I can show you how this thing works. But whilst we're going, we should probably also eat some apple juice, because our hunger is getting a little bit low. We do have 1 modifier spare on our hammer here. I'm not quite sure what I want to put on that extra modifier. I considered putting redstone on it to make it a little bit faster at mining, but look at this. This thing can mine now in a massive area. Not just a 3x3, but almost a 5x5. Like I said before, I can't quite do the corners. It does tear through its durability like it is nobody's business. Like, what durability? It had 222 durability, but it does lose 1 durability for each one of the blocks that it breaks. And so we do lose out pretty quickly, and so it might actually be worthwhile investing in something like a diamond or an emerald to actually increase the durability a little bit. Also, not quite sure what's happened with the texture. I'm assuming that's something to do with the Electrum and it being shocked, but we've got just like a white hammer right now. I don't know if that's going to fade or if that's just there forever. I'm not quite sure, but let me grab some iron real quick so I can see about repairing this thing, because that broke real quick. Yeah, we can repair it with 1 iron, which is nice, but then let me grab a diamond and an emerald. So I think a diamond increases the durability by a little bit. They have been tweaked since before. So that would take our durability up to 722, adding 500 durability and taking its mining level up to obsidian. If we were to add an emerald, that would take its durability up to 333. So what emerald does is it adds 50% extra durability. So because we had 222 before, half of that's 111. And so adding 111 to 222 takes it up to 333. I think I'm going to add a diamond to it just to add that extra durability, because the durability is horrible right now. This almost triples the durability and takes our mining level up to obsidian. We might in the future look towards adding more modifiers to that. There are ways to get extra modifiers onto your hammer, but for now I'm going to use this thing. It has got rid of the white glow on it, which is nice. I thought we'd be stuck with that. I thought it was going to be like a little glitch or something, but this should hopefully make life a little bit easier. Oh, there we go again. Okay, I'm not quite sure what's up with that, but it's going down a little bit slower now, as you can see on the hotbar there. It's not quite tearing away as fast, and obviously I don't think I'll be mining up at Y level 56 when I do most of my mining, but if I go down to now Y level 12 and do a bunch of mining, it should make it a lot easier for us to find things like diamonds, lapis, gold, all that good stuff, and just make mining in general a little bit easier. Of course, I'll probably still take a pickaxe with me if I just find the odd ore and don't want to use the durability of my like 5x5 hammer, but it's nice to have, and it should make terraforming as well a lot easier in the future. But with that, guys, guys, I'm going to end this episode of Feed the Beast Infinity for Minecraft 1.10 there. As always, if you did enjoy the video, be sure to like it, really does help out a lot. Between episodes, I'm going to do a bunch of mining. Next episode, I'm going to come back and work on some new stuff. We did add a couple of new mods in the newest update that Feed the Beast pushed out just a day ago, so I'm really interested to look into some of those and try those out next time. But like I said, for now, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.